And you are live.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this March meeting of the Akron Civil Rights Commission. I would like to call the meeting to order. It is 4:36 according to my clock, and would like to acknowledge the commissioners who are present with us tonight. Commissioner Alexander is here. Commissioner Maddox is here. I am Vice Chairperson Commissioner Pitt, and Commissioner Wilson is with us this evening. Thank you all for being here, and we'd like to acknowledge John York is with us from the Law Department, the Akron Law Department, and would like to share that our chairperson, Commissioner Thomas, and Commissioner Rice sent their apologies for tonight's meeting. So we're going to move right into the meeting agenda. We have received minutes for the February 1st meeting. So if you would like to pull those minutes up, I would appreciate that. They were sent to your email, and I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes after, if there are no discussion items with them. Commissioner Maddox, you are muted if you are sharing with us.
I move that we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Maddox. Do I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please. Oh no, we need to do vote by roll call because we're online. So I'll call off. If you'll say yay or nay or yes or no, that would be great. Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitt, yes. Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimously approved. Now we have two sets of minutes, two lots of meeting minutes before us from prior meetings. Are we ready to bring those for approval tonight, Commissioner Wilson?
If everybody is comfortable voting on those, I just sent the May 2021s just a few minutes ago. I can understand if we wait off to review. These are a year old, both the April and May. There are possibly some slight question on timing, exact timing of the commencement of the meeting, and some entrance of late or departing commissioners throughout the meeting. Those discrepancies are highlighted in light pink or red on the Google document sent to everyone. However, those aren't really big deals, and the core of the meeting minutes have been recorded properly. What other things? I think that's about it. I don't know where everybody's comfortability of that is, or if they want more time to review.
What is the will of the group? Put the link to both in the chat. If we'd like to take a minute just to reflect on those, and then we can decide how to proceed.
Madam Vice Chair, I would move that we continue and that we accept the meeting minutes as presented.
From both April and May 2021?
For April and May 2021.
Thank you, Commissioner Maddox. Is there a second?
I will second this. Oh, Alexander. So, sure. I also wanted to just have a quick note on this. I will make some slight edits so that it's adaptable because there's two pieces of information that I don't think we'll be able to hunt down, but that are not consequential to the content of the minutes.
And I think, yeah, if you edit it so that that is simply stands as is, I think Commissioner Maddox is assuming to move to approve them with those tangential omissions. Am I correct, Commissioner Maddox?
That is correct.
Okay, so seconded by Commissioner Wilson / Alexander. Thank you both. So I'll roll call the vote. Commissioner Alexander,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitt, yes. Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
thank you. Unanimously approved. Moving along with our agenda, we are going to go to old business. So the first, I will hand over to John York for the status of the conciliation 20 ACRC 00003. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have spoken to the complainant, and she explained that she would like to withdraw the complaint. She wants to dismiss. She's not interested in pursuing. And I told her that I would report that to the commission this evening.
So as I understand it, we can then take a vote to accept that.
Well, I think she has the, because she has the authority to make a complaint. I think she has the authority to withdraw the complaint or dismiss. So I don't know that the commission needs to make any formal action.
Okay, do we need, so we'll just note that in the minutes then, and do we need to send her any follow-up letter or acknowledgement of that withdrawal?
I would, yes, I would prepare a, I have, just to confirm our conversation, I have in the meantime sent her a letter advising of the conversation. So she's aware, just confirming the conversation, but what I would recommend is that I would prepare a follow-up letter to let her know that the complaint's been dismissed. And then I would also follow up with a letter to the respondent, so they would also be aware.
Well, thank you for both of those actions and for that conversation. Appreciate your work on that. And I think that would stand then in our minutes received. No further action necessary. So the next is the status of our open complaints, if you like. So the first is 19 ACRC 00013. We've got two things before us, two items before us with regards to that case tonight. The one is the assignment of the hearing officers, and the second is the status of that complaint. So I would like, if you all would be amenable to it, to actually ask Mr. York to give us the status of that first, to give us a little bit of an update, just so everyone feels they're on the same page. And then we'll go ahead with item A, the assignment of the hearing officers. Does that sound good? All right, Mr. York.
Well, I don't have any substance to report on the matter because I haven't gotten involved with the matter on the substance. But what I could speak to is really the process. At this point, once conciliation fails, we look to Rule 18 of your rules, and three things really need to happen next. One is the I'm not sure if it's the chair. Yes, it says the chair shall designate 3 members of the commission as presiding members to conduct the hearing. And it looks like Chair Thomas may have intended to assign three members because their names appear on the agenda for this item.
Correct.
Okay, so the second thing that needs to happen, according to Rule 18, is the commission needs to establish an answer date. Because what will happen after tonight's meeting is a notice needs to be mailed to the respondent to let them know when they need to file an answer and also what the date of the hearing is going to be. So that's the third thing that needs to happen tonight, is the commission needs to establish a hearing date. So it's name commissioners, establish an answer date, and establish a hearing date.
Thank you.
Sure.
So let's go ahead then with the assignment of the hearing officers. And we will assume to, this is not something that needs a vote. It's a assigned from our chairperson, Commissioner Thomas, who is to this hearing is assigning Commissioner Maddox, Commissioner Rice, and Commissioner Wilson. And I'd like to recognize that Philip Young has just joined us. Welcome. Good to see you again. Good to have you with us. And then let's go ahead and think about what would make an appropriate response date, would be our next piece of business. So assuming the letter would get mailed and be received by the end of next week, the 11th, let's say, when would we feel we would need to hear back? And when would we want to set the hearing date? I would recommend we looked at something like 8 weeks out. Commissioner Maddox, were you about to jump in?
This is when they respond, I just want to be clear, this is their acknowledgement that we're going to hearing, or is this, okay. I don't know that 8 weeks is, I think that they can give us a response sooner than 8 weeks.
Oh, no, I was thinking of the hearing date.
Oh, yes.
We might want to think about both in tandem, because the response is also like if for a really, they can't make that date, they're going to be out of town, or they've got a operation planned, who knows,
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. I thought you were talking about just a response and acknowledgement. So that would put us, 1, 2, 3. That would put us around, are you looking at the week of April 11th or the 18th?
I would say after the 18th, yes.
Okay, all right.
Week. I was thinking that week, because the week before has some Christian holidays in it that may interfere with people's availability.
So yes, so do we want a finite date, or we just want to say the week of April 18th, or would we like to say April 19th, and that would allow, if they mailed that response out on, or at least they would have their planning together, and so we would perhaps look at the 19th.
Well, I guess I hate to interject, but are you now contemplating the answer date?
The hearing date.
Yeah, I think that may be pretty quick for a hearing date, because the answer date, what they're going to be answering is not just to acknowledge the hearing date, but they're probably going to prepare an answer to the actual complaint.
Okay,
so maybe we want more of a formal. It'll be more of a formal document. And just to give some idea of what the normal answer time is for a civil case in our court system, it's 28 days. Okay. So you're looking at, possibly you're looking at 28, 30 days just for the answer. And then you probably want to have a little time after that for the hearing.
So then could we plan for the response date to be the prior week, the middle of April? Say, for example, the 11th of April, assuming they would receive our notification by the 11th of March?
Sure, that would seem reasonable. So, so what I'm hearing is that the answer date would be April 11th.
Right, and then we would put the hearing date further out than that. Another month away, so mid-May.
That would seem reasonable, considering it would give you the May meeting to review the answer in anticipation of the hearing.
Would May 17th, a Tuesday at 4:30, be suitable? I know we only have Commissioner Wilson and Commissioner Maddox here from the hearing officers, but.
So May 17th, you would anticipate having actual schedule of the meeting of the hearing?
Yes.
Yes, that's fine. That date works for me personally. I can't speak for everyone else, but we have some wiggle room if we need, if schedules need to be rearranged, or well, at least we have time to know that if we announce it to the rest of the commissioners who are involved.
Is that
Right.
something that you will need IT support for live streaming?
Mr. York?
We would likely need IT support, but I don't know that we're going to need it live streamed because the hearing is probably not going to be open to the public.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll email you tomorrow.
Okay. Is that a problem? Because I know that's not your normal day.
I don't see a problem with that. We'll just tomorrow we can talk about what is needed from IT, so we have make sure we have.
Okay.
Okay.
Would the commission be contemplating doing that at 4:30 in the afternoon?
I would assume to do it at our regular 4:30 time. Is there any reason to assume that if council chambers were used, that those would be available, or some room, the room we used to use? Is it something we should contemplate doing in person?
It can be done remotely,
All right.
and it may be easier for not only for all of you, but for the attendees who may be witnesses to appear as well.
Yes, fair enough.
Yes.
All right, so do we need to have a vote on that?
Yes, a vote would be needed to establish the answer date, which I believe is April 11th, 2022. And then a vote would be needed to establish the hearing date and time. I think you could potentially do those things in the same motion.
Can I assume to accept a motion to then establish the response date of April 11th and the hearing date of May 17th at 4:30 p.m.?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Commissioner Maddox. Thank you, Commissioner Alexander. Second, and so I'll roll call. Commissioner Alexander, how do you vote?
Yeah.
Commissioner
Yes.
Maddox?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitt, yes. Commissioner Wilson?
Wilson, yes.
Thank you. Unanimously passed. So we will table the next items on the agenda unless, Mr. York, you have any update about the cases 6 through 11, numbers 2 through 7 on the agenda.
No, Chairwoman Thomas did not give me any information on those.
All right. And we will also assume to, in the absence of Commissioner Rice, we will assume to table the next item, number 8. And Commissioner Wilson, you have a...
Just a quick question, if I may. Do we need to formally assign those hearing officers?
No, they are assigned by the chairperson. So we are tonight assuming their assignment based on their listing on the agenda.
Okay, I'll put those in the minutes then. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You can simply minute that they were assigned by the chairperson, Commissioner Thomas. So we are going to move on to number 9, which is complaint 21 ACRC 00014. Commissioner Maddox.
That party who filed that complaint has been unreachable. That was my report as well last month. Since then, I have received the same electronic responses. The number is not a working number, does not exist. Those kinds of responses. I have emailed that person as well and have received no response at all to their complaint or any follow-up from that person, from that gentleman.
At this point, would you like to, should we perhaps send a letter, a more official letter, to let them know that we need to hear from them in order to pursue the complaint?
I would give them that one last opportunity. I do know this was a housing issue, so I'm going to hope that whatever mailing address they gave us might still be effective. So that may be our last opportunity to help them with this case. So if
do we let this I mean, our other option is to just let the case sort of languish, if you like, until we hear back from the person.
They're unresponsive, unavailable electronically with the contact information that I have. So I think in all fairness, perhaps just that one last gesture of a letter, a physical letter. And if it can, maybe there's a forwarding address someplace that we don't know anything about, that it might reach them, in which case they would have one more opportunity to reach back to us and give us appropriate contact information. And then if we don't get that response, if the city, Mr. York, if you could send them a nudge, we're trying to reach them kind of communication. And if I don't get any response, then we would move to close the case for a lack of follow through.
I can do that. I will, I'll share that letter with you.
Okay.
Member Maddox.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll move on then to 21 ACRC 00015, Commissioner Wilson.
Hello, thank you. Okay, so some updates on this complaint. Letters were sent out. I have interviewed the complainant. I've called the respondent company multiple times over the last 3 weeks without answer. I finally got an answer last week. I was not able to get the contact information for the people who I need to be contacting. Several employees have left the company since, and therefore it falls on the district managers, who I've given my contact over to through another employee. But there's a little bit of a hierarchy, and I'm not sure how to breach it. So let me see what else. So that's the update. I'm wondering if if it goes on too much longer, I might ask to send a letter. If I'm not able to reach them, I will try dialing them again. It's been about a week and a half since I gave my request to contact. So I don't know if anybody else has any other advice on how to reach when so many people have left the conversation. I would take it. So that's my update.
So investigation ongoing is the short answer, but perhaps some assistance needed. So you'll keep us posted on that, and then we'll see if you get a response in this next month. Yes.
One point of action or clarification for Mr. York, if I may, to ask for collection of documentation around termination, is that sent through a formal letter?
Well, I'd probably start, it'd be nice if you had someone to contact first, so you'd make sure it was going to the right person. It'd be nice if they would actually respond to you so that you could talk to a person, and then you could make that request. You could ask for that just verbally. You could say, I'd like to see these records. And if they provide them, great. But if not, then it might be something that you'd follow up with in a letter.
Okay.
But until you know who the right person is, I guess I'd be a little bit hesitant to send a letter, because it would seem like the initial contact would, it'd be nice to talk to somebody. But however, if you continue to fail to be able to reach the person you need to reach, it might be something where you write sort of a letter of to the, I believe you said the manager.
Yes.
Even if you don't have a name, just so they can become aware of this and, take it seriously.
Okay,
And-
brilliant. Thank you.
Mr. York, I know in the past we've discussed the possibility of Mr. Young helping us with getting to the bottom of some situation. So I'm wondering if this might be an opportune time to, since you showed up, Mr. Young, it feels like it might be serendipitous. Is this perhaps a case where you might be able to help? You're muted at the moment, so you'll need to click that out so we can hear you. There we
How
go.
about now?
Great.
Yes, I was going to say that on both those cases. If you want to forward me the information, I'll make a personal appearance in both of those cases.
Oh, wonderful. So in Commissioner Maddox's case too, the prior case?
Yes, as long as
That-
they're in the city, I can make a personal appearance and get all that information.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. So Commissioner Wilson, if you don't have Mr. Young's contact information, I can certainly pass that on to you, or Mr. York could do so. And then if both of you could pass along to Mr. Young the contact information for the, in one case, the complainant, in the other, the respondent, then we can hopefully get some movement. Thank you so much, Mr. Young. Are there any items of new business before us tonight?
I have a couple miscellaneous things that are commission related.
Okay, so let's
not
move
actionable.
from new business to for the good of the order. So I know Commissioner Wilson, you had forwarded an email. So I wondered if you would speak to the City of Akron, the strategic 5-year strategic plan for the Racial Equity and Social Justice Task Force.
Yes, absolutely. That was on the list of 4 things.
Wonderful.
Yes, so the City of Akron's Racial Equity and Social Justice report was finalized and released. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I have not read through it yet. However, I plan to do a sit down. I hope that everybody takes a moment to look through it. It also might coincide with actionables maybe with this commission later, so it might be good to review. So that's exciting. That's a long process, and cheers to all those who have been involved. Another thing, this is a little bit miscellaneous, but I want to shout out Gert Wilms in the mayor's office for holding on to posters that were printed quite a while ago for the commission to distribute throughout the community. So I've picked those up from Gert, and with the commission's approval, maybe we could talk about it next meeting or through email, but I was thinking about hanging them up at coffee shops and barber shops, etc., so that people can interact with the posters and with the commission.
Were there pamphlets with those? Were there any of the
pamphlets.
Trifold pamphlets?
I did not see any pamphlets with those. I can
Okay.
follow up with Gert and see if we have any.
That would be great. And it may be that those have already been distributed. So I would suggest that there is no need for us to discuss that at a future meeting, beside reminding ourselves that we have them. And oh, look there, Mr. York. Look what you are producing. I can tell the size of the box.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, that reminded me, I have cards that were prepared some time ago for the commissioners. They're a generic card, but it does recognize you as an Akron Civil Rights Commissioner.
Wonderful.
So if we get together in person at some point, I could give those to each of you so you can, I think the idea was to be able to give those out at speaking engagements or any time, you needed to.
And certainly before we gather in person, Commissioners Alexander and Wilson, I know you are newer, so you probably don't have those cards. I still have a few. I don't know, Commissioner Maddox, if you do, but perhaps before we meet in person, you might want to stop by Mr. York's office downtown and pick up some if you would like to. Thank you so much, Mr. York, for mentioning that. And I was going to say that I don't know that we need to discuss it beside reminding ourselves that they're available, but I think you should feel absolutely at liberty to put those up, Commissioner Wilson. Thank you for volunteering your time and your energy for that purpose. I know that we did circulate some when they were first printed. I think maybe 3 years ago now, with discounting the pandemic years. So we would really appreciate those continuing to be circulated. And if anybody else would like or has a spot where you know that you would like one of those posters, please be in touch with Commissioner Wilson. Anywhere that you know there's a community center or a church or a place where people gather, please, we'd love to have a poster up. So Commissioner Wilson, if you would be the caretaker for those going forward, that would be wonderful. And then I think, to your point, on a future meeting, we should put on the agenda reprinting. Now that the pandemic is waning, we should probably get a stock for the future of those. I would like to mention under comments for the good of the order, we have 2 training opportunities coming up this week. On Thursday on Zoom for an hour each, one at 1:30 on Thursday and one at 4:30 on Thursday. So if you haven't already, please let me know, and I would be glad to share the link for those with you so that we can just keep ourselves up to date on what's coming next in the processes that face us, and feel comfortable with the various aspects of the work that we do as a commission. I wanted to give a shout out, and I don't know if you know this, but our chairperson, Commissioner Thomas, is a part of the cast of The Color Purple, and she does a fabulous job. I told her that I am never going to take her on if she's holding a frying pan in her hand. And if you want to know what I mean, you have to go down and watch the show. It's running through March 13th, so there's still a good opportunity for you to see it. It's a fantastic piece of theater, of course, a harrowing tale, but really, really wonderful. And it's down at the Weathervane Playhouse. Thank you for the link, Commissioner Wilson. Down at the Weathervane Playhouse in the Valley. Any other comments for the good of the order tonight?
I would just
Madam
like to
Chair?
say,
I'm sorry, Commissioner Maddox. I just want to report I believe it's the last item on the agenda.
Yes.
There were no public comments this month.
Thank you. Thank you. I was heading in that direction. Thank you. Perfect. Commissioner Maddox?
yes, I would just like to say it is good to see Mr. Young back with us. He is a valuable resource to us, and I appreciate that you are still involved and able to do a little bit of the pre-lifting. I won't call it the heavy lifting, but some of the pre-lifting. So what you provide to us is very helpful. So thank you for still being a part of our team as you take care of some of these investigations and tracking people down. So I just want to welcome you back and tell you that I'm glad to see you there.
Thank you very much. Somehow I got left off the list, and I've been trying for months to get back on, but I don't know what happened.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Commissioner Maddox, for flagging that. It is good to see you again and have you step right back in. You slipstreaming you right back into the business of the commission. So hearing that there are no public comments this evening, we, having finished our agenda, will adjourn our meeting at 5:09. Yes, Commissioner Wilson.
I'll also say, because we're celebrating another historical Women's History Month, so happy Women's History Month to everyone. And I can motion to adjourn if we want it.
Our agenda being finished, we don't actually need a motion. Thank you. So we'll adjourn at now 5:10. Thank you all so very much for being with us this evening. And our next meeting is on April the 5th.